Of course, I want to welcome everybody to WDLJ. On this segment, it's called Let's Get Real. I'm trying to catch up with my videos because I'm way far behind, of course. Um, as I said, I have several channels. Let's Get Real, Alter Ego, The Truth, and then, of course, it's WDLJ FM 108, which deals with just the music section. And then I have Visions and Visions Youth. Um, I know it's a lot, but I plan on adding people to contribute to whatever section they would like to comment on or make statements on. I haven't got to the point where I can really set up a group of people, but I've been working on that one. Just our pick up today is, a fall of American idea. People say, what's the American idea? Well, the American idea is that everybody can accomplish, be free from prejudice, persecution, no matter the color, race, religion, culture, and ideology. What we find the problem comes into ideology. To be honest, our biggest problem is ideology in this country. We developed political parties that basically are like vultures. They prey on the weak. They manipulate the weak to start to unravel this idea of America. As I said in many videos before, but they're all gone, the best way to control people is divide them. America established when its conception that it would not be a product of the Spanish, European, or French. And what that meant was they would not have those revolutions. The Spanish had the revolution, the French had a revolution, and so did the Europeans, where the people destroyed the monarchy. We set up a form of government that started out minimal, but now it's turned into such a form of a monarchy. And what I mean by that is you have government officials that don't have term limits. They can stay in forever, 40 years, 30 years, whatever. And that does not help the idea of America. And the reason I say that because every cycle, things change. Music, clothing, fashion, ideas. And without allowing a change, you will always be stuck in that same old ideology. To me, it's just the old guard refusing to give up power to the new guard. The new guard is the new generation of billionaires. And this is where we're finding this big complex war that has affected everyone. Throughout history, of course, certain issues have affected various people, but this is probably the first time in my lifetime, besides the Vietnam War, that has affected everyone. And I find that disturbing because if you knew anything or learned anything from the Vietnam War, or your parents taught you anything about the Vietnam War, was that we all felt pain. Everybody. There was no one on the American soil that didn't feel pain because you lost someone. Even the people that sent their kids to college lost their children. Kent State massacre, several other university massacres, because they stood against a war that was unjust. And ever since then, when we stood as one, we became powerful. So if people talk about let's make America great again, I probably would say that was probably one of the most great points of America, because you had everyone hand in hand marching and fighting for the lives of their young children, because that's what it was, young men dying for something Nobody knew. It's not World War I or World War II where our sovereignty was threatened. So to ask a young man to go fight in another country for something that he don't even understand or have no idea or even care for is something that is very difficult to explain. And the government can never explain that to the people. And then, of course, the media back then started sending photographers and the pictures and the bodies start coming back, and we weren't feeling it. This is what's going on now, but except they're using the internet. This is our Vietnam War, and that's the internet. Misinformation, news channels, CNN, MSNBC, Fox, all are liars. They only benefit their constituents and the wolves that pay their paycheck. They will never ever tell you the truth, because when they do, you're fired. Or you see something scandalous comes out about them and their whole mentality change. And I can go through a list of names from Fox. I can go through a list of names from MSNBC. I can go a list of names from CNN. When these people discovered that, hey, all this is bullshit, and started to try to tell the people the truth, look what happened to them. That perfect example, because at first he started out with the most radical person I've known. Then he started to learn. O'Reilly, I remember when he said, oh no, Thomas Jefferson didn't have black descendants. Then he found out, well, damn, they did. Then he started to learn more what they did to him. You can go on MSNBC, all of them. The best channel to ever discover is basically the dark web form of news, because they are independent, and these are people that are doing their own investigations, bringing up their own documents and facts, and basically risking their lives telling you the truth about stories that you have no idea about. You don't understand that you don't teach your children the past repeats itself, because your children don't know what to recognize. After the Vietnam War, it was a concerted effort to disunify the people. And the best way to do that was 1980. Ronald Reagan's new speech was, as of today begins the new world order. We shall strive to have a new world order. Not a new United States order. Not a new American order. A new world order. And that's when you saw the decline of the hardworking people of this country. Started with the mills, steel mills, manufacturing, not going on and on and on. Created a poverty class unbeknownst in this country since the Depression. Then you had the infiltration of drugs, set out to destroy one group of people. At first, we were the first experiment. So white America, if you thought you were safe, you're not. Asian, no, you're not. Black America was chosen because we were considered the least important. The person that developed crack was a biologist. You understand? Genetically engineered to make us addictive. Now, brothers always want to, the African American community always want to blame it on the white man. I don't care if the white man put a 1,000 guns on your block, a ton of cocaine on your block. It takes you to go get that and put that in your community. It took you to do that because you were too proud to mop a floor. You too proud to pick cotton. You too proud to pick berries or strawberries or whatever it took to keep your family fed. You were too proud, so you go out there and you bring in this destructive mechanism into your community. and kicked out all the rules of the old days, the prohibition rules. People don't even know about the prohibition and how that operated and how it made rise to the mafia and how money and the influence was done. It still was a way of doing things, and you did not take young men and women, and especially children, to distribute your product. Now, you may have them do a little odds and ends for you, but you allowed them to hit the age of 18 where they can make a conscious decision as a young adult. Just like they can make a decision going to military, college, or whatever. That was the rules back then, but those all went out the window in the 80s, 90s to today. And how was they able to do that? Through music, through media. I remember so many stories about the rich and famous. Why do I want to see somebody that got more money than me living better than me? Is that going to make me feel better? Or is that going to make me strive to get to where that person get to and by, any means necessary? That's what created this. Me. You had the credit card. You had credit scores. That wasn't required during when I was growing up. It was based on trust and bargaining. You understand what I'm saying to you people? The fall of the American idea started to infiltrate. And white America, you thought you were so safe. But you didn't understand that they were collapsing your economic status. Enron. That wasn't done by black people. All those men stole all that money from your retirements, your medical fund, your pensions. That wasn't done by black America. That wasn't done by immigrants. That wasn't done by men coming across the border. That was done by the elite men in this country. But instead of turning your hate towards them, you turn your hate towards the struggling ones right behind you. They're struggling too. The idea of America is you having the ability to grow and be the best that you can be. And live the best life you can live. In peace. The next method. Religion. Oh, you don't know about the religions? Oh, yes. Everybody's jockeying for power in this country. From religion, to political parties, to secret societies. Everybody's jockeying for this position. Look at your churches. Mega churches. Come on. Like a lot of y'all don't know, they had a Senate hearing. These men got boats, planes, $1 million mansions. What do you have? You're giving your money that you don't have to these men so they can live better. All in the name of God. Which in reverse is what? Dog. You must understand and teach your children the true understanding of what society is. And you do that at home. Don't expect your school system to teach you this. Or teach your children this. Just as I grew up, I didn't learn none of the things that were going on through school. I really wasn't interested in another person's opinion or one book telling me about Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy. I was never satisfied. I always went to the library and learned more. John F. Kennedy had one of the greatest speeches ever, and so did Martin Luther King. These are what killed those two men. Kennedy said it is unconstitutional, immoral to have secret societies bent on controlling the lives of the American people. Martin Luther King said, let's step back and keep our children from dying in a war that don't have nothing to do with us. There's no threat from the Viet Cong. The big thing that these countries used was communism. Communism versus democracy. And both of them were, to me, nothing but a dictatorship. People don't even understand what communism really started out as. It's an idea that everybody's equal and had an equal ability to survive. There was no class structure. Where it failed is you allow government to dictate that class structure, and because you go to school to be a doctor, you were equal to a janitor, and you live low income. But they flexed to America and saw the doctors and the dancers. I bet you can't even name the first defector. He was a ballet dancer. He came to this country and saw the riches that the people in entertainment were enjoying in this country, and he said, oh, hell no, I'm not going back. Then hockey players, then doctors, lawyers, teachers. Sorry for the noise, but I live by the airport. I mean, the military base, so they do their flybys. But see, this is what we don't teach our kids. This is why we're in this position right now with this person. Now, many people don't understand. I've known about this person since I was young. I don't like him, didn't like none of his shows. And that's Donald Trump. I had no problem I grew up with Nixon. My grandma loved him. He got kicked out for something, spying on the Democrats, something they said. But the actual truth was they had to get Nixon became obsessed with the Cuban war. He wanted war against the Cubans because of the situation between Kennedy and the Cubans. And they knew that was not a logical solution to the problem. Because on the underside, the CIA was in there funding half the problems they were suffering. So he had to be removed. But go back and look at some of the good things he did. I always tell people, I don't like to tell you things, statistics, and all that, because I'm doing the work for you. And I'm only finding certain things, so you're going to only learn certain things. You might be able to discover something I didn't. I'm be honest, I was watching the Dave Chappelle show. And he divulged that a black man gained his freedom, was given acres of land, became wealthy. You know what he did? Got some slaves. That's right. He did. And he was worse than the masters. So that just tells you it's all about an economic thing. That was the economic way. So he perpetrated the economic way. When he could have made the change by paying those workers. So the fall of American idea comes from all of us, all of our historic, all of our ancestors, all of our great uncles. But we're in a new generation. This generation is not dumb. The first big controversy, a lot of people don't even know that when people found out Beethoven was black, they planted blackface on him. Even though this man died poverty. Sorry, that's my Gatorade. He died in poverty. And the fact that he was black and death. You see, with the fluctuation of the internet, it was able to reach other cultures' historical archives. Like the true painting of a civil war and the true painting of Washington on the Delaware, on the boat, consisted of African Americans, a native guide, George Washington, and a few other men. Because that was America then. They were fighting for their independence as one group of people. First true elected leader of America was a British black man. Because he had the most elite status at that time. But you won't be told this. You won't know this. This is the fall of America because we continue to base ourselves on race. We keep looking at race. Race is not our problem. It's an economic problem. And 4 years ago, I did something called the economic racism. And it began with a system called the stock market. The stock market was created to take companies away from young entrepreneurs. They could not grow without money. Banks were denying them purposely. So they came up with shares. You sell shares of your company and they give you money. So many companies were destroyed. The American idea is that we are to fight against all oppression, all persecution against our people. America is America. And for you Native Americans that are all confused about your heritage and want to blame the white man, I've educated you. I did a segment on that. The worst Indian in history was an Apache. They dominated the region and kept moving. No different than any other civilization, from Japan to China to all those countries that used war, killed millions to expand their empire. So the Native Americans made treaties and bargains to take down the Apache Nation. Now, with all the white people mad about the reparations and payments, well, these were legal documents. They did not go to war with the Indians. I've heard a Trump supporter say, well, when you lose in a war, you lose. No. The war was against the Apaches. It was not against the Cherokees and the middle small tribes caught in the middle. Treaties were made and broken. If you break a business agreement now, you can be liable and sued. Well, what happened is that Indian nation educated themselves on tribe treaties and laws and was able to sue the government. Now, y'all not going to get your land back. I'm going to tell you that now. It's over. Skip that. Okay? Plus, you wasn't the first ones here either. You derived from a culture. learn that also. But that's what I keep telling people about the American idea. Stop thinking of yourself as a classification: Native American, Black, White, Caucasian, Scottish, Mexican. To me, if I was president, you fly any other flag than the U.S. flag in this country, I will have your house burnt down, confiscated for treason. Hold on. I hate when this happens. Got to turn my phone off. Thank you. That's another thing. These robo calls. How in the hell they get your number? They call you from one number, then they call you back from another one. This is what I mean. The idea of America is our ability to show the world how to be caring, humanity, respect. We're the most feared country, not because of weapons, that we can coexist. There's no other nation like this. But we have every culture, nationality, religion, ideology, whatever you want to call it, in this country, and we're not killing each other. We're not blowing up mosques and things like that. Now, we do have our psychotic people, but who you think influences them? These shooters don't get these ideas just out of their head. They get on these web pages, they express their views, and never underestimate your government or any government. We have the CIA. Russia has the KGB. China has theirs. Europeans have M5. They infiltrate these dark sites and influence these people to do the most horrendous things in the world. Like go in the mall and shoot up people. That ain't done nothing to you. Or going to church and kill people. That ain't done nothing to you. This is the fall of America. Our idea of what family. We almost lost World War II because white America refused to accept the idea that immigrants and blacks and Native Americans can contribute. There would have been no Tuskegee Airmen without Miss Nightingale. That she got in that plane with that black man and flew. And they did not lose one bomber. To the point that white men wanted to fly with them. Native Americans created a translation where the Germans couldn't break it, the Japanese couldn't break it, because they did not know the dialect of that language and they could not figure it out. Oh, don't skip out Mexico. They were there too. Everybody was there. That was a real war that threatened the sovereignty of everybody. You had two people. The Emperor of Japan, Hitler. They wanted to rule the world. And if you study history, their idea was that Japan only goes through the Asian countries. Take over that section. Then they would go this way. Because they didn't want nobody to mess with Americans, because America was supplying them. Ford. And we still celebrate Ford today. Rockefeller, all the men were supplying Germany for economic benefit. That's all it was. They didn't care. It wasn't their country. They don't give a crap. Germany, they had no intention of coming over here. Japan. That's why you can't have no one leader. It'll never be a leader, one leader, because there's always going to be that other person that wants that power. They're going to want that power. So Japan redirected its fight and came after America. So what did that do? Deplete Japan. Germany. We had to start building our own shit. Sorry, I can't help you, bro. But we had amassed enough for them to continue their war. But we were fighting for our lives, our sovereignty. I don't care what we were going through as African Americans, Asians, whatever. Nobody wanted to give up what we had in this country. Nobody wanted to give up what we got in this country. No way. To live under oppression and rule of another nation that is already cruel to its own people. Imagine what they're going to do to us. So Americans, we have that resolve of survival. People say, oh, we didn't drop the bomb on Germany. Well, Germany did not attack us. For one thing. The only reason we got in the German war was economics. Ford, Rockefeller, and the crew. Germany owed them a lot of money. Okay, they want their money. Period. They ain't give a crap about no war. They convinced our American government to get in the war, but guess what? Everything we defeated, we got the spoils of war. So we looted the hell out of Germany. Everything they stole, we took. And the French and several countries are still trying to get back their art and all this other stuff. Japan annihilated China. Literally, they wanted to wipe them off the planet. So they destroyed their whole infrastructure. Who do you think built it up? American and Europeans. So we control China. The economics. Now Microsoft runs everything. But they put on this act that, we're indebted to China, blah, blah, blah. Just to get you not thinking about the true picture of their people in suffrage. If you ever seen the Bruce Lee movie, if you ever really looked at what he was saying about how the Japanese were to his people. No different than Ip Man. These Chinese movies depicted Japan as what they were, conquerors. But their biggest problem was China was tribal by nature. So you had tribe here, all over fighting each other. Japan had already experienced that. Nobunaga. I played Dynasty Warriors and didn't even realize that these people really existed. Okay, I'm playing this game like it's some fantasy game. No, it's Japanese and Chinese life. Japan had already learned that lesson of tribal, so they were able to unite under one ember. Like the fall of the mind, this dynasty, the Ming dynasty, all these dynasties. Then they focused their attention on the ones they hated, China. And they literally annihilated them. So we came in there after we whooped their butt, took their shit, went up there, rebuilt China. Now Russia armed China. Because, hey, this is too close for us. We already had to deal with Hitler. We got to protect our own too. So as Japan was expanding, they started to arm the minor fractions like North Korea. That put a halt to that movement. They're not friends. They say they share ideology, but they're not friends. Russia and America, we're not friends. British and America, we're not friends. We're allies. We work together for a common goal to secure that Germany and Japan never happen again. And they can never have a standing military. These are things we don't teach our children. We don't teach our children how great this country is and how to feel about this country. You have to believe in America, the idea of America. Stay away from the government. Stay away from politicians, because that's what they are. They may go in with a good intention. If they had that good intention, they would say, I'm going to serve my 4 years and I'm out. Then somebody else come in. No, they get in there and they see that this can be a lifelong, prosperous job. All I got to do is play the game. People don't even understand why the president was given term limits. Roosevelt. People kept electing him. Hell, he was good. People loved him. He had more power than Congress, and they didn't like that. So the president was put on term limits, but why not Congress? Why do we have a judicial system that has a lifelong tenure? That does not help us achieve the American idea. And one of the greatest persons back in that time were two people, Frederick Douglass and Thomas Jefferson. If you want to learn anything, read those two men. And they will show you the evils of their own. Not the evils of another, but the evils of their own. Understanding the American idea. First Southern governors were black. I hate the best about them, but they were. But they weren't black. They were European. They came from stature, class. That's the difference in things you don't understand about the world. And somehow this country allowed itself to be poisoned. And I'll tell you how. You still had those Rockefellers, Ford, all German descent now. Don't forget that. They hate everybody. For some reason, they think they're the most superior race ever. And they've been thinking that for a long time. So they allowed the fluctuation of millions of Germans. And where did they send them? To the South. Because they knew they couldn't do much in the North. Okay? We've already been through the Civil War, so they knew that wasn't popping in the North. So they sent them to the South. Uneducated blacks, oppressed blacks. They infiltrated the government. They were called Dixiecrats. That's where your Republican Party come from, people. Truman, Accord, civil rights, all that. The descendant from that Republican Party were cast aside. And who replaced them? Dixiecrats. Where did the doors fall? They went became Democrats. But Democrats was no different. Position of power, Vietnam War, this illusion of communism expanding itself. This is an illusion. And it destroys our American idea. I go around, I see sometimes people flying flags of different countries. The only flags that are flown in different countries is supposed to be the United Nations. Period. Period. If you want to fly your flag, go back to your country. Seriously. Now, I'm not mad at you to practice your heritage. You practice all you want. But that flag that you fly on your home better be an American flag. Or go home. Go back to your oppression that you left to come to this country. Another fall of the American idea. It's sad, really, that we elected a man that, based on the Constitution, he could have never ran for president. Never. Until now. Because the president was supposed to be out without moral reproach. That means his background had to be damn near squeaky clean. I remember Gary Hart, he was cool. Got busted for cheating. Boop. When did we drop our standards? Easily. Distraction. And how did they use that distraction? They let the cops run rampant on Black America. So that distracted us. But white America, you wasn't safe either, huh? Oh, y'all thought y'all was safe. No, they unleashed meth. Meth is designed for you. Destroyed your communities. Turned them into trailer park trash. While you were sitting over here talking about, oh, they deserve black, they were doing the same thing they did with crack to you with meth. Destroyed your communities, your children, your neighborhoods. Asian America, oh, don't slip on, huh? I ain't slipping on you either. Opium. Opium is an addictive thing to Asians. That's how they control their people in the little restaurants and massage parlors. Yeah. Time to learn the truth. The truth is, this country develops ways to control us. Native America, alcohol. Come on now. They introduce you to alcohol and it's in your genetics now. Even during Prohibition, they gave y'all alcohol. People going down to Indian reservations get alcohol. Making it down there. This is why I try to teach them, the younger generation, stop letting your parents tell you the past and learn it yourself. And you're going to dig deep because they're going to put all kinds of stuff on top of it. You got to work hard to know the truth. And the truth is wealth, money. We all been sold out for the dollar bill. I keep telling people, examine your money and see what's on your money. You have every fraction that was in this country during that period of time printed on your money. Codes. You put it up to ultraviolet lights, you can see all this stuff. There's a purpose for that. Thomas Jefferson, like I say, was one of the most intelligent men ever, believing in this American idea. He slipped in all these little amendments because all they cared about is money. I got my land, I get to own, I get to do this, I get to do that. While he slipped in, we the people, and all these little underlying things. And they signed off on it. And that's what gives us our freedoms today. Another thing I'll touch on is guns. Come on, people. What do you think these guns are for? Killing. Killing. You don't need an AK-47 to shoot at a damn deer. You don't need an AK-47 to go hunting. If you want to know what it feels like to shoot an AK-47, join the military. You want to know what it feels like to shoot them type of weapons, join the military. Because that's what they're for. Mass killing. In the introduction of the Tommy gun, I thought when I read about it, heard about it, it would change the minds of the people. To this day, Tommy gun will get you life. Will get you life in prison. Why? Most devastating gun ever created. It's better than an M16, anything, AK-47. No one has ever been able to duplicate the Tommy gun. It was a barrel gun that shot rounds faster than anything you've ever seen. Implemented by Al Capone. He was the one that first do the first drive-by. Then Bonnie and Clyde. The devastation that that gun could do is unbelievable. It's like having a 50 cal that you can carry. So you keep gun owners out here, oh, they're threatening my guns. We're not threatening your guns, man. Well, criminals gonna get their hand in their guns. It ain't the criminals we worried about. It's that unstable person in Texas. It's out there with a 50 cal. If he knew what he was doing and locked that gun down, wedged it in, it wouldn't have had a kickback and he would have killed much more people. Kid walking into a high school, fully automated, M16s. It's just a clip that makes it automatic. Not automatic. You can get that on the dark web. Glocks. I remember 38s, 22s. You only had 6 bullets, so you had to make sure they count. Now, you got people just drive by shooting people, just unloading. 19 round double banana clips. That should not be on our streets. That is not the American idea. That was not the right to bear arms, meaning. The right to bear arms was for a standing militia against the British and the French and the Spanish. There were threats on both sides of this country after Britain left. But the French learned to work with us. The Spanish, they kind of like states of their own. That's why they're in the situation that country is, South America is now. They didn't really want to learn and integrate with the French and the Americans and the Europeans. That's why they're in the situation they're in now. Just to think, if those 3 countries had to put this stuff together, South America, North America, we'd probably been far much more advanced. But they didn't. So what I'm trying to say, the idea of America is being proud to be American. Take off all this other crap you put on your applications, people, employers, and just say, are you an American citizen or not? Not if you're white, not if you're black, not if you this, not if you that. We're the only country to do this. It's unbelievable. But this is a mechanism to control us. Now, my last thing is, I'm hoping that when people see this, or Trump people see this, they understand the true fact of it. And that is, the election's over. We've been through many more controversial elections than you can count. But no one has ever done the things that you people have done. You act like this man saved this country and we was in a catastrophic position. We weren't. All he did is the job for the FBI. He uncovered every militia, anti-government establishment and made it known to the FBI. Because you came out in drones. Go look at your own nationalist party. They hate you more than they hate me. So you don't watch those videos. No. Because they don't support. Because they tell you the truth. You're a fool. You're an idiot. Now that's your own nationalist party. They're not racist. They just believe in their own little white thing going on. Just like black thing. They believe in their own little thing. They ain't trying to take us down. They ain't trying to hold us back. They trying to get their people to do better. A nationalist said one of the greatest things I've ever heard a man say. He said, white men in this country have ruled for 400 plus years. Yet we have more in jail, more pedophiles, more rapists, more than anybody. And our young are declining while the minorities are growing. Minority billionaires have doubled white men. Women are killing us. That's the new America. Face it. Stop blaming everybody else. Learn your history. This border you talking about never existed. Did you understand that? The treaty we made with Mexico, there should have never been a border. Go look it up, Spanish-Mexican. Because you're separating families. And the deal that Gorbachev made with Ronald Reagan, which they don't want you to know. They just want to think, oh, yeah, Ronald Reagan did this. And no, he made the same deal. Took down the borders from Mexico. Because it separated the people. Just like the border in Germany separated German people that have been families for thousands of years. And you use this excuse that these Mexicans are coming over here doing all this. No, we've been doing that shit before they got here. The cartel. Oh, the cartel's coming in. The cartel's got billions. They can come in here anytime they want to. They come, they recruit. They flash money just like everybody else. Nobody likes being poor or what they believe poor. You can never be poor in America. There's too many programs that you can do in America that you can't do in Mexico or any other than southern countries. And a lot of European countries and a lot of Russia, China. No, only in America. That's what keeps our stability. So we got to pay a little extra, so what? You got to pay some taxes, so what? Quit crying about it. You ain't crying about the military where a toilet seat costs, what, $5,000? A screw, $400? Or bailing out the bank industry, $7.5 trillion? And you want to cry about a little money we're going to get to some people we screwed over? And I say we because I am American. And the sins of the past are just as much as sins of me. So I'm willing to get my tax. They can have it. I've never filed tax but twice. The state money, let them have it. I'm not going to sit up here and trip on it. I just let my mind think, well, it's going to what I want it to go to. And that's what you need to do. If you're a military person and you want your money to go, well, just think all your money going to the military. Okay? And if you're a person that think they're supposed to go to the people, just think all your money going to the people. To rise in this country, you got to be American. That's it. That's nothing else. Not black, not white, not Asian, not nothing. And this is the honest truth, people. This is not a game anymore. Life has changed. We got a new billionaires club now. Smarter, richer. And they got a goal. So I just want to say, an ending, start to think about what you're saying, what you're teaching your children. Because that's the greatest danger. Thomas Jefferson said, the way to change the future is change the mind of the youth so they can change the minds of the future. If we make your kids still stuck in the past, hating the president they don't even know nothing about or don't even who cares? They've been screwing up this country for I don't know how many years. You can't blame one man. Blame Congress. Blame them. They're the fault. They're the problem. Because they never change. The ones in power are still in power. So, in ending the fall of America idea is happening. All you see on the news is this person hate this one, that one hating this one. The president's supposed to walk on and be gone. As he talking about something important. This president continues to say an election was stolen from him and continue, you fools believe it. Nothing was stolen. He was outsmarted. I'll show you and prove to you how it was done. If you go back and you look at the ballots, they put marijuana on it, damn near everybody's ballot. Okay? They put things that matter to young people on every ballot. That's how it works. I've been listening to WDLJ, FM 108, Follow American Idea. I got one more to do after that. And then I'll try to do more. I need about 15, I think. But I'm going to start to do more and try to be more focused and try to continue doing what I'm doing. I'm not going to sit up here and click subscribe and all that kind of stuff because this is not a monetary thing that I do. I do it because I want to do it. I'm not sitting up here trying to get as many clicks I want. Because like I said, the message is going to go to some people and some people it's not. But the ones that are really going to feel what I'm saying is going to spread that message. So thank you. And pass it on. For you that had to work, it'll still be able to be seen, but it won't be live. I haven't started live chat yet. Not set up for that. But I want to thank you once again. You have a beautiful day and peace. All right, we'll say you was a good one.